Hello, hello, good evening. Hope you're doing well on this Wednesday night. I am back since I finished Elroy and the Aliens last night. I'm gonna play this game tonight instead of tomorrow. So I'm gonna take a few minutes, put the word out on the socials, and start in about 5 minutes. And there is the ad break. I'll see you in 3 minutes. Alright, we are back. Let's get started. So I know a little bit about this game, but never actually played it. So let's see. Operator. An operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. A machinist. A machinist repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. Well, we have an extractor. Extractors work on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. I guess we will go with an operator. My Marble Hornets is showing with that one. Alright, where are you? Unknown. First thing you become aware of is the first thing you become aware of on awakening is the disconnect. The delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It is the worst. It is at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt to be real, to be a person, in a body that was indisputably yours. Let's think of that body. Leap it to a cold lake on a hot day. The sting of blood welling from a fresh wound. The friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in, behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dull nature of this new body, given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, rolled hard at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. Let's remember the plan. You mostly remember that it wasn't a good plan, but then your options were limited. And once you got the itch to get out, by any means possible, it was either that plan or something much worse. It was simple. It was at least simple. Collapse the shaft and drift away into the chaos, slip into cargo processing, seal yourselves into containers, and then hope that the freighter jet before you missed. Some were lost in the shaft. Others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers. But the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough. Enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reach any destination. That is all there is for now. It's been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of the damage to your legs, your right arm. You have been receiving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You have spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge the false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound too, everywhere. Screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light. Wide as the cold. Softer and softer, until in a haze of dirty yellow a figure appears. You are out. Back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc slices them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, Sleeper, are you all thawed yet? Almost. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have been better perseverance than Sub-Zero Vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech. His headset with its glinting eyes the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. The last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he is just figuring out what to do with you. I plan to survive. You aren't sure if he hears you. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation. And I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now. And you are just software. A rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you paddle to the sleeper cells. Promise of a life off-world. As you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer a person. You are an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. Decent art was to protect their property, but if they can't keep a hold of you, well then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence. A built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, Sleeper, you are one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away toward the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The eye? The station. You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in as much valuable scraps these days, so you are welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet and nod. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Drago stalks back into the Rex, his drones already converging on a rusting hulk. Plasma flashes, silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Alright, welcome to Erlen's Eye. Life in the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore the rest areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Hey, reach! thank you for the bits and for the very kind words. I'm glad I could help. I'm glad I could bring you some comfort. I know you've been going through a lot. Uh, which reminds me, I gotta watch your bit in the Final Fantasy XIV concert. I have not seen that yet, but I want to. But thank you. It's always a pleasure to see you, my friend. You keep being awesome. You're the one who's actually awesome. I'm just a stupid mouthpiece on a Twitch channel. Alright, so where was I? Life in the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. Alright, so that's the empty container. Is there anything else I can even try to highlight here? No. I cannot wait for Chapter 4. Chat reaches, among many other things, a great streamer in her own right, a really great singer, and she's also a great writer. She's working on a great Uma Musume fanfic that I've really been enjoying. So I can't wait till she gets the next chapter out. And yes, I haven't talked about it much on stream, but yes, I'm also a fan of the Uma Musume franchise. Worst Girls for Life. Never. I will never stop saying good things about you, Reach. You wake up curled in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, and the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable, but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are on this rune station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know, but after all this, what matters? I want to say building a life. Maybe you did get lucky finding yourself here. Maybe here on the edge of everything, there's a life for you to build. But before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Maybe if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. Mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachets smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. Constellation of bright polygonal shapes like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you've finished drinking before that they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can, and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Alright, tutorial. Condition, action dice, and energy. Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. It depletes by one segment each cycle, but can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your position now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that will keep you alive. Action dice. At the end of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform various actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used up your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending their current cycle. Energy. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Your energy bar depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you will be starving. When starving, energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will deplete at a rate of double per cycle. All right. Dragos is standing in the corridor when you close up the container. He is still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, it is implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder. A cache of sensor eyes is rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Oh, I guess I can say, okay. The drone chirps. Good to hear. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses, so I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? I want to say, sure. Alright then, he nods. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old holes down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cargo. Occasionally we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of it comes in as scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labor. And obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turned up. Chits? These. He pulls out a handful of small metal bars. Airwall cargo, isolated from the market. It's what we use for trade out here. He stuffs them back into a pocket. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can, and sleepers, well... He trails off. But things being the way that they are for me at the yard, I need the help. Alright. Me too. Okay, he pauses. I think you have something else to say. Look, just come down to the yard when you are feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away. The drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Alright. So, I think for today, we definitely want to go into the scrapyard. Alright, actions are the primary way you interact with the world of Citizen Sleeper. Perform an action, select it with the directional button and the A button. Then choose an action dice to assign. Repeatable action. Hold this section. Even the rusty's hole can hide valuable components and materials. Extracting them means cutting carefully and skillfully. Or manual salvage. It's going to take some time to sort and cut your way through the towers of salvage, but you are no stranger to hard labor. Actions reward you with clock progress, energy, condition, or items depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of outcome. Positive, the action goes better than expected. Neutral, the action succeeds. Negative, the action fails. Action dice affect these outcomes as follows. A 6, that is a critical hit. A critical success. 100% chance positive. Got a 5, you're guaranteed either a positive or a neutral outcome. 3 or 4, you get a 25% chance of a positive, 50% neutral, 25% negative, and the 1 or 2 is 50-50 neutral or negative outcome. Alright. Actions display information about their type, risk, and the skill and modifiers that apply to that action. Type, either critical or repeatable. Critical actions can only be performed once. Risk, either safe, risky, or danger. Safe, no loss of condition, energy, or cryo. Risky means there's a negative outcome, means cryo or energy loss. Negative, or the danger, which means negative outcome means condition loss, and a neutral outcome means cryo or energy loss. 3. The skill in this action requires either engineer, interface, endure, intuition, or engage. Modifier, either -1, 0, +1, or +2. This is added to the action dice when slotted and improves its value. Some actions require a positive modifier to perform. Alright. So let's see here. I guess for this one, we'll go with the manual salvage. And we'll roll with this one. Alright, we got the back in business outcome. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Clocks are the ones, such as the ones tracking Drago's steps, are cycle clocks. These clocks fix themselves once each cycle and can complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. Alright. Wait, what the hell did I just... Alright. Drives and navigation. In Citizensleeper, you will unlock drives so you discover more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives, depending on which path you wish to take. You track drives, and many track drives will place a yellow marker on locations that will help you pursue your goal. Access your drive with L1. You are now free to explore Airland's Eye and make a life for yourself here. Try tracking a drive to help you survive. Look for food and keep your energy up and a way to recover your condition. Build clocks to progress stories and find new opportunities. Remember to end cycle at your home when you are out of dice. Alright. I guess for now I'll focus on surviving. The next corporate pharmaceuticals. Otherwise, this campaign will come to a rapid end, so we have to find a doctor. Alright, so I've toggled tracking for that. Alright, we'll do another manual salvage. And that was a success. You wake from hammering away. You wake from scrapping to worthless rest. Call a day early before you injure yourself. Mission complete. We'll just try the whole day section once. It's probably going to... Oh. We got 15 cryo out of that. Nice. Alright, so now I have to leave. Before I... Alright, I have no dice to do anything here. Alright. Alright, so I can go up to the market. Let's try Dock C4, the Rotunda Wet Dock. Merchants are willing to run the gauntlet of the Hellion system are rare, but those are to return eventually. This might be a place to find a doctor. Take several cycles to reach the Stalwart Belt. When you return, look at Scrapple. Rex, okay. And let's see what we have in the Bright Market. So, alright, good to know. So, on the next cycle, I guess I'll explore the market. We'll end this cycle. This time you don't wake up. Instead the ghost of the station, that shifting skeletal ring surrounds you. Uh-oh. For a moment you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and extensions as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, solving into the millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station. No, you feel the station. Like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. Let's touch it. You find a point in the station, you connect to it, pulse through it, follow loops and paths around it. You touch more points than you have fingers, and then you try in a moment of impulsiveness to connect them. The flow passes through you so rapidly that you feel yourself being carried with it, splitting and separating, eddying and gathering. As you do, things occur to you, things that you can't possibly know. You reach out, try to grasp them, try to touch them too. You notice a tugging feeling pulling at you insistently, as if it were a small child. Somehow, it is pulling down in two directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there. The station is splayed out across your mind, a storm of connected nodes, waiting to be explored. And then it is gone. Alright, so it looks like I'm also starving. So, gotta leave. We're gonna go to the market here. I'm gonna use my high dice here to explore this market. You manage to pull a flow of people, you may start to appreciate, even enjoy, the chaotic layout of the markets. Okay, we found a doctor. Next comes the call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. Keep your head and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now that you are here, you aren't so sure. Gang enforcer at the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block. They have all made a long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and without supply of stabilizer, this body, your body, will suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You're trying to find something to distract yourself. Let's look inside. You lean up against the door frame and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by the green indicators of snacks and sealed containers. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a far doorway, screened with plastic sheeting, beyond which blurred shapes move. A slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. Wait your turn, he growls. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway and you catch a distant voice. Send the next one in, Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head and sends you inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. Floor-to-ceiling transported panel gives a full view of the bright market's sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and for a moment you are transfixed by this motion. Come, sit, calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turned away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouth as if to speak. They blink, and then quickly regain their composure. Please sit. They gesture to the bed, then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns, a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. Remain still, please. Your tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you first answered. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. How long have you been on this station? They ask. Scanner still to their eye. A few cycles. They nod. It's good you came to me. They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything. They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. Your body is dying. They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. SNARP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose. They prevent bodies like yours, brains as they call them, from being stolen, repossessed, or in your case, escaping. They built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Brains decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which SNARP remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sound familiar? Yes. Good, that may help. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says, and you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch or the metal or anything else. Emulations like you, sleepers as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm, and SNARP has no reason to release the stabilizer into the market. Sabine looks up as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. I know little of this is of use to you. They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something. Anything. Sabine turns to face you. I may be able to help. They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. You saw Toshiro outside? You nod. He works for my benefactor, Yatagan. They are influential in the low end. They gave me this space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds. They look away. But Yatagan has connections. Smugglers from the Starwood Belt. Mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance. Sabine sets down their slate, their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it. Don't ask questions. Thank you. Sabine looks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. Let's see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave. Sabine is still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. Duck your head and walk off into the crowd. Alright. I need food, so I'm going to explore the market, see if I can't find food. Alright. Well, we did max out our local knowledge. But I am still starving. Now it gives me the vendor. Ah, fuck. Ephes is busy, his broad face uplifted by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movement, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok. His other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables into some red fleck dressing. It smells incredible. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it into black trays. A sack of chits rattles in his apron as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. We'll approach. You join the queue. It's mostly made of off-duty salvagers, vac suits unzipped and rolled down to expose stained vests, grubby mods, and a lattice of scars and tattoos. They discuss the best food on the eye, the best drink, comparing notes on the bright market dives, their words cut through with heavy spacer slang. Eventually, it's your turn, and you shuffle to the front. Ephes speaks in a deep, even tone without looking up. First try is free. I'll thank him. It smells almost unbearably strong as he cooks. The earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire, and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you, sleepers, Ephes says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. A hard life, a lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes. I know. Tell him the story. You begin to tell him about your journey to the eye, and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also sense of possibility, and its sudden arrival. You tell him the cold and dark of the container, and the endless cycles spent within it. Now it seems you tell him like some dream you once had but can never forget. You tell him that the eye excites you and scares you, and you are unaware where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually, you tail off, running out of words. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Next time, we can talk some more. He smiles. But next time, hey. He slams a heavy hand against a button on the burner's side and it shuts off. The roar of the flame, its impressive heat fades. Next time then, sleeper. He waves you away and begins to oil the wok. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearms, each surrounded by a constellation of glinting pin marks. You walk away, and as you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. We'll be back. Alright. We got some food. Alright, so we gotta wait for Sabine. Can we exchange any hardware here? Nope. not without dice at this time. Can I do anything here? Again, not without dice. Alright, so I'm beginning to get the hang to understand how this is working. But for now, with no more actions for the day, we are gonna have to call it a day. Alright, we're ending the cycle. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with flickering lights, like stars reflected in a winter lake. It is clearer, crispier than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads you see bright shapes, patches of shimmering light beneath transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of the thread across the ring. Through these forms, and then leap off into the void. You begin to understand. These are nodes and connections, a map of information and communication. There are so many layers, so many loops that it almost seems impossible to parse, but you begin to try. Let's focus on the nodes. Nodes are glassy, bright, but in all this flow, the only solid and fixed points. You approach one, a pyramid or a triangle. Dimensions are difficult here. And lean close to it. Inside, shifting layers conceal a tangle of threads. A meeting point of exchange. But before you can glimpse any further, the glass clouds and hardens cutting you off. The threads and nodes. Passages and puzzle boxes. One leads to another. There is so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the paths and open the boxes. You look out across the ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then that insistent tugging again, pulling it. You look down again and see two lines, two threads pulling in different directions, as if they were tied around you. Let's go with the second one. Second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows it, and this time you see something strange. A sphere shimmering above a strange angular body. A pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. First. The first thread leads out, away from the station, into the inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They are in a ship. The ship is approaching ever closer with each cycle. You open your eyes. Time is short. We are being hunted. Oh, fuck. Royal the Cloud. Something has changed inside me. You can now access the data cloud of the eye, a network of decaying protocols and data caches. While you can use dice and items to access systems and extract data. But be careful, these networks are old and strange. Press Y to view this, to toggle this view on and off. So we've got a hacking game. Alright. We are gonna... I'm gonna do one manual savage. It's a negative outcome. The low end goal. Alright, after some spaces costing trouble on the low end, Yatsukan has imposed a toll for entry. No one gets in without paying. Oh, lovely. Alright, so nothing to do there. What about the rotunda? Let's... You know what? Let's steal the dock plans. I have a 6 die here. And we just became a dock watcher. Getting to know the rotunda doesn't just mean new places to visit, it means keeping your eye on new arrivals too. Nice. There's the overlook bar. Alright, so this is a place to buy food. Good to know. No dice required for that. Alright, how much does he charge for food? Alright, so he requires 15 cryo for fungus. Alright, we'll do a manual salvage. And a negative outcome. Fuck. Alright. We'll go home for now. There are active scenes to complete, huh? Not here. Alright, so Aunt Kita. Hey kid, you wanna earn a chit? Aunt Kita is beside huge pile of tied together whole plates. She stretches her back, her shoulders bulging beneath her flight suit. Make it two. This good. Ankita laughs. This goddamn station. She sighs and pinches the bridge of her nose. Alright, come here then. You cross the docking concourse as she begins to split the plating into 2 bundles. What is it with this place? She asks as she angrily lashes the massive plates together. Everyone wants their cut. She straightens up to an imposing height, her armor plates creaking, looks you up and down. Or is it just that you all think that I'm an easy mark? We all need to survive. I get it, I do. She shakes her head. If I could go just one cycle without some jumped up grifter trying to take me for an idiot, then that would be nice. Akita hoists one bundle of plating onto her shoulder. Come on then, enough chat. You've got to earn those chits. You struggle to shoulder the plates, but you do eventually. Ankita gives you a look. Ship's this way. She sets off down a gantry at its impressive speed. As you catch up to her, she turns down a passage, pushing through a small crowd of stevedores. Or stevedores, I'm not sure how to pronounce that word. What's all this for? Oh, this? She nods at the plates on her back. I'm building a treehouse. She gives you another one of her looks. It's for the ambergris. For the ambergris. That cutter you might have been seen sitting silent out there. She rapidly turns another corner as you trail behind. She got cut up pretty bad on her last job, and I had to moor up here for a spell. But since then, it's only gotten worse. Someone got in and sliced the core from our ship mind, so now she's gone dark. She shifts the panels onto her shoulder. The upside is that I'm short one ship mind, with a ton of repairs to do. And the rest of the crew signed off the moment they got wind I'd been stranded, so yeah, it's been a time. Anything I can do to help? I don't know. Got a ship mind tucked away in that frame of yours? For a moment, we weren't sure if she's serious. Ankita swings the plates from her back, almost knocking you over in the process. This is me. She holds a second bundle off your shoulder. You're actually the first person I've met here that might be considered helpful. She pauses, chewing her bottom lip. Look, you want to help? Come see me. I need a hand putting Amber back together, and you don't seem like the type to try anything stupid. She passes the bundles of plates through the ambergris's outer lock and then turns back. Just don't go spreading all this around. Akita throws you a couple of chits. She gives you a parting nod and ducks through the doorway. All right, get out of here. She calls back and the lock slams shut. All right, we gotta drive. All right, you've heard talk of fabric one button. So where is the ore exchange? Go, hardware exchange. I don't have scrap components. I don't have dice. So that means I should spend at least one action there and hope that I'm successful. Alright, so this game auto-saves. That's good to know. Alright, so all these things I need to do, I need dice for. But I can probably... Alright. I can order fungus and eat. And that ups my energy. Good to know. Alright, anything else I can do here? Alright, I guess we'll just go back to the container and end the cycle. Alright, we got an ad break coming up in a little over a minute. I don't play during ad breaks, so no. I'll just stop playing for like 3 minutes when it hits. Alright, we got 2 6-sided die. Someone out there is tracking you. As you close up, a voice echoes down the container towards you. Alright. Sleeper, wait up. I will turn towards him. Fang is coming down the corridor towards you with a wonky grin on his broad face. Hey, glad I caught you. Do I know you? He grins. You do now? With a hand on your arm. I've seen you hanging around here. I just want to chat. You staying in that thing? He heads back to the container, shaking his head. Rough. It'd be hard to get a star in the eye. He looks away down the passage. What was it old Erlen said? The eye opens for us all? Nice idea, but not always... well, not always very practical. He glances back at you. We do our best, but it isn't easy. We? Or Erlen? You pass together in the main walkway. No one has told you about Erlen? He's the founder of this place. That's why it bears his name. Haven Age should organize some seminars, he laughs. Not really my department, though. I'm with systems. Systems. Systems? Everything the eye runs on. He runs a hand along the passage wall. This place is a ruin, but systems... Alright, there's the ad break. I'll see you in 3 minutes. Hey, Alex. Good to see ya. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you're feeling a little better. I saw that, it's Shark Week for you. So... Alright, Reach. Always a pleasure to see you. You rest well, my friend. I'm glad you're okay, Alex. Truly I am. And we are back. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing alright. Had a fairly long day, but better now. Alright, so this game is kind of like a D&D, sort of like a tabletop style adventure in space. Everything the eye runs on he runs a hand along the passage wall. This place is a ruin, but systems keep it spinning somehow. At least we try to. He stops you in the quiet passage. Look, that's not what I'm here to discuss. I saw you around, and well, I know a little about you sleepers. I have a little proposition for you. He glances around. This is not the place for it. I have an office just across the way. Give me a cycle or two to prepare, then, when you are settled, stop by. He lowers his words and gives you a dark look. In truth, I need you. If what they say is true about you sleepers, well, there's work to be done. Good. Staying hydrated is very important. He pats you on the back, his voice bright, and his dark look suddenly goes, "Stay clean, sleeper." He walks off the passage, raising a hand in farewell. Alright. I'm going to take a risky action here, since I got the dice for it. And we earned 15 cryo. Nice. Alright, I'm gonna use my 2 dice here. And we got a neutral outcome. Nice. Alright, nothing to do here. Alright, nothing to do at the bar. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. That could not have been comfortable. Alright. What else? Alright. I'll do this dangerous action of rewiring drones. And, oh, okay, I guess it's no longer available, huh? That's good. I'm glad you're able to treat yourself. Do I have enough to eat here? I do. Alright, that maxes out my energy. What is it being? Alright. So the doctor will be ready for me on the next day. Alright. We'll rest for now. Sleeper. Bang catches your attention as you approach the Havenge building, leaning against a bay door to the side of the entrance. You approach. Easier to come in this way. Security and all that. Gives you a look. You know. He slams a button and the bay creaks open, blinking lights in the dark behind it. You follow Fang inside. Truth be told, I don't spend much time upstairs. This is where I work. The door hisses as it closes behind you. The bay is filled with pieces of hardware, all rigged up to generators and diagnostic slates, and things you don't recognize that glow with a blue screen light. There is a chorus of homes that blends into a single wave of static, filling the dark corners of the room. Bang leans on a service stack and gestures around. Like it? What is all this? He taps a nearby server stack, which bleeps in response. This is my treasure trove, all dredged up from the sea of systems we call the Eye. Wouldn't believe what this place runs on. He steps over to a towering block speckled with vents. Some of these systems are from the original station, AE-1, the one Solheim built. We've had to invent new components, repair things we've never built, reverse engineer entire subsystems into existence. Residents here look up at the Eye and think they are seeing a constant, concrete reality. But this place is a system in constant flux. Decaying and growing, collapsing into new configurations. Walks down between the hardware stacks and you follow. We are keeping this place alive, but also remaking it into something new, dragging it away from those corporate origins. It stops. At least that's what I'm trying to do. He turns back to face you among the flickering machines, humming all around you. I know you can see this too, Sleeper. All these systems and sections. You can see it, can't you? I can see it. It makes sense, right? You are between here and there, between the people and their systems. You light this place up like a beacon. That's what I need. You glance at the lights around you, and as you do, they seem to flicker, to realign, to follow your gaze. Fang notices it too. I'm guessing being a beacon isn't always ideal when you are on the run, though. They are tracking me. He pats you on the shoulder. Maybe I can help with that. There's a lot of old growth in this place. Subsystems I can't see, access protocols lost in time decay, secrets. Shitload of secrets. With your help, I can unlock this place. Break off those ghost limbs of corporate control. He lowers his voice from below the hum. Even in Haven Age, there is old growth. Those whose roots track back into those bad old days. You can help me dredge up the past, and I'll see what I can do about that tracker of yours. Winks. What do you say, Sleeper? I'm in. Definitely don't want to be caught by this hunter. Bang pumps his fist and claps you on the shoulder. He meets your eye. You won't regret it, Sleeper. Bang passes you a ragged-looking metal tab. A gift. Smiles. It's a Solheim cipher. I dug it up from the depths of the station. Slot that into an old network gate and you'll be able to pull out all kinds of secrets from the nodes inside. Walks you back from the front of the bay. Start by bringing me whatever you can turn up. Use that emulated mind of yours to see what's out there. Let's get a picture of how things are. Those above, he nods at the ceiling, have granted me an acquisition budget. I can pay for whatever useful data you bring in. I know you need it. He slams the door button again. Keep it quiet and keep it clean, Sleeper, and I'll see you soon. You step, blinking, back out into the passage. Those flickering lights still in the back of your mind. Alright. Can I try hacking any of these? Data actions will allow you to extract data from the networks of the Eye. These actions work like dice actions, but in order to unlock them, you must match your dice to the one displayed on the right of the action. If you have a +1 or 2 modifier in the interface skill, you'll be given more possible dice to match. Use any of the dice that matches the dice displayed. Once unlocked, the data can be extracted. Alright, so This looks like... Alright, 2 for a match. And we can extract the data. And we got 1 encrypted key. Alright, I don't have any more dice that can be used for that right now, but... Alright, so that's how hacking works. Alright, well... I don't have the data at this time, but... I'll go to the yard here. Alright, we'll do a whole dissection. Maybe something good here. Alright. Alright, scrap freighter is here. Alright. Do I do that or not? Wait. I think the doctor's ready for it. First thing you see on entering is the glint of Toshiro's implants, like a cat's eyes, in the dark of the corridor. He nods you in as you arrive at Sabine's door. The entryway is still dark and you push through the sheeting into the surgery. I have it, Sabine says with the case open in front of them. A set of vials, lined up inside, separated by foam inserts. They pick one up, rotating it in the warm light. I have no idea how Yatagan. They trail off. We should treat this with caution. Looks authentic, but I have no idea if this is really what it appears to be. I'm the test case? That seems to be the case. Unfortunately, I'm not sure we have another choice. They gesture for you to sit on the bed. The stabilizer works under a similar principle to an immunosuppressant in a transplant operation. It stops your body from rejecting the unfamiliar part of itself. In the case of your frame, the unfamiliar part is each of your biosynthetic organ groups, which over time are identified by your body as foreign material and therefore must be eliminated. Sabine holds up a vial of the would-be stabilizer. However, unlike an immunosuppressant, the stabilizer doesn't do this by eliminating your entire immune system. Sabine holds up a vial of the would-be stable. Okay. Instead, it re-encodes your biosynthetic organs with new protein chains which act as passcodes within your immune system. Stabilizer refreshes those passcodes, keeping your frame from rejecting all of its own organs. Passcodes? In very basic terms, yes. Look, what matters here is that the stabilizer should be able to encode any organic or biosynthetic matter to be accepted by your immune system. They glance away. At least if the stabilizer is genuine, the only way to know for sure is to inject the vial. They begin readying the syringe. I'll start with a small dose to limit the risk. Okay, let's do it. Sabine cracks the glass neck of the stabilizer vial and uses a syringe to extract a fraction of the liquid. They tap the syringe and you watch as if any sign might emerge from the clear liquid. You barely feel the needle, your frame registering the initial injection but with little response. A sensation begins to spread from the site, a freezing, trembling wave that disperses through your arm with incredible speed. Your vision goes white, and when it returns, Sabine appears encased in shards of sparkling light that slowly fade into darkness as you settle back against the bed. Alright, thanks for coming by, Alex. You rest well, my friend. Always a pleasure to see you. You swim in darkness, muffled noises, like an argument heard from underwater. Trickling waves of cold. When you sit back up, Sabine is sitting in a chair by the window, facing away from you, backlit by the glow of their slate. Awake? What happened? Stabilizer's genuine. They sit down beside the bed. I don't know how Yatagan required a case of the stuff, but they did. Sabine looks troubled, distracted. There was one... I'll best describe it. There's one ending where... you do nothing. The villain goes back in time to his wife, but she dies anyway. There's another where you stop her. God, I don't remember what they're... Basically, in the other two, though, the villains are all imprisoned in the alien prison. And Elroy and his dad go to work on the basketball court. You should rest some more, but you are going to have to do that somewhere else. They gesture to the door. I have other patients. Sorry. Sabine nods towards the case. I'm afraid I can't offer you any more doses. You are going to need to pay for your next dose. Silence fills the room and they return to their glowing slate. Looking around the room, it seems different somehow, as if things have moved or shifted. I wonder how long you have been out. Good night, Alex. Sabine? Nothing comes free, sleeper. Remember that. You manage to get to your feet and wander out into the hallway. The queue stretches down the flickering corridor. Butcher stands impatiently by the door and fixes you with a glare as you leave. You lower your eyes as you stumble past, somehow faintly aware of the station spinning beneath you. Alright, I'm stable for now. And Alright. We'll eat some fungus. Nope, can't do that. Do I want to unload? Alright, that action is unavailable. Alright, we got a neutral outcome and ship shape. Alright. Alright, just looking around here. Oh, okay, I can actually do this. And we gain access to gate S7. Nice. Alright, we have 5 dice today. Alright. Let's make some money. Alright. Back in business is almost done. Yeah, fuck it. Nope. Alright. Done fucking around there. Yeah, what the hell? Let's try unloading containers, and that actually worked. Cool. Alright, so I'll need 100 cryo. And according to this, did I read that correctly? Yeah, I have 77, so... Hey! Super Cat coming in with the raid! Welcome on in, Raiders. For those of you who do not know, my name is Nathan J. Caboose. I'm a variety streamer. Tonight I am playing Citizen Sleeper. I'm honored for the Super Raid. How was Stardew Valley? Oh, and also, if you need to raid and rest, I totally understand. After stream care is very important. Hey, Isaac Blue, welcome on in. So basically, this is kind of like a life sim with cyberpunk and tabletop elements. Alright, is there anything I can... Alright, I appreciate the lurk, Cat. Thank you so much for coming by. You rest well, my friend. Oh, can't do that. Wait, if that's a +1, then... Nope, that is not gonna work. Okay, it'll let me do that one here. And extracting data. As you drift back from the node, something latches onto you. A thread strung tight around you. It tethers into place. A taste. The voice makes you shiver. Its source somehow distant, both distant and close behind your ear. You see a distant Glint of light shut off, and then suddenly a shape is at your side. It stalks around you like a shark, like a wolf. Entity unknown. Astringent. Processing. You struggle against the thread as it tightens. You struggle against the thread and it tightens in response. A glittering garrote. Please hold. This thread around you thickens until it is a ring, a cylinder, a tunnel of light circled around you. It is blinding for a moment, and then it is gone. As it fades, you see a figure, a creature in front of you. Its strange head flickers between different angles, reading you. What did you do? The shape paces around you on little legs, though there is no ground here to pace on. Entity, identify, origin, serial, cadence. The figure faces you expectantly. Sleeper, S and ARP. Unknown, known. The figure's strange head rotates. Brackish signature. Of and of nod. Attempting interface. As the figure speaks, more threads begin to spiral from its head. Thick, snaking, vine-like ribbons that flex and weave. They approach with intent. Stop. Figure halts in its threads, its head twitching. Entity. Your identity is unknown. You only seek to correct illegalities. Can you confirm your legal right to sentience? I'm a person. Incorrect. You are an entity. All at once, Hunter's head is directly in front of yours, blocking your vision. Stink of their taste. The one from the sealed dock. Hunter shivers with fury. I will find access. I will interface. Sealed dock? He hides the rotunda. You are its puppet. Hunter extends a razor-thinned thread. I will not be diverted from my task. It glows with murderous intent. Strike. You lash out with all your force. Not a physical strike, but a focusing strike of interference, leaping out like the tip of a spear. Hunter stumbles, shifts, and separates. Wake up. You open your eyes, looking back into the station light, shaking with fear. Alright, we'll try bypassing this one and extracting its data. No. Alright, so insert a cipher here. I don't have one just yet. What the hell is Fang? There he is. Alright. So that's one step towards getting the hunter off my ass. We'll rest in our empty container home. Alright, 5 dice today. Water fungus, max out this and complete this little side quest. Sleeper! Empress calls out to you, a booming voice that echoes through the corridor. Tell me a story. He throws a handful of chopped mushrooms into his wok. Fire leaping up to meet the oil. I see you. Cycle in, cycle out. But we never speak. Tell me a story. What kind? Any kind. He pauses to drizzle something from a plastic bottle into the wok. One of yours. He looks up at you. Nothing stolen. You pause, the spices rich in your nostrils, and think about the kind of story you'd like to tell Emphas. You look at Emphas, the listener, and imagine he's heard it all before. Perhaps you enjoy some strange story, perhaps something with some spice. Let's tell him a story about my dreams. All the sleepers, you tell Emphas, had dreams. Some were simple, memories left over from the emulation process that had become tangled up in their minds and would come out when they slept. It wasn't rare to hear a sleeper in the dorms scream or cry out in the night. But your dreams, those gray skeletal after images of systems and structures, of threads and patterns, weren't like the others. They weren't memories or nightmares, they were reflections of reality. Distorted, yes, but somehow true. You learned back then to keep quiet about them, to let them flow through your mind like water. That was until now, till you arrived in this place. Now your dreams colonize your waking life. They slip behind your eyelids with every blink. And now you understand they aren't dreams at all, but some process of interfacing, of speaking, of living in another world that flows through this one like smoke through air. You tell them that you do not know if there is a reason for your dreams. Perhaps, you reason, it is just some side effect, or some particular quality of the frame you inhabit. But whatever it is a gift, and you hope to make use of it. Emphas finishes cooking and squints a little at you. Sleeper, he smiles. You are quite the storyteller. He eyes you, and you realize that he is trying to gauge how honest you have been in your story. Emphas passes the meal he has cooked, and you take it gratefully. As you eat, he talks, a natural exchange. Thank you, Sleeper. He looks around at the empty market. But my time is done for today, and I do not want to keep you any longer, so I will make a proposal. He gestures to the small plastic boxes of ingredients stacked behind his stall. These are good enough for most, but someone told me a story that made me think a couple of cycles ago. They said across the gap, in the greenway, fresh mushrooms grow. Have you heard this? No, I have not. Neither have I, but I trust the one who told me. Emphas begins packing up his things. Can you bring me some? I cannot cross the gap and I worry about leaving my things behind. He smiles. I'm sure a storyteller like you could handle the trip. I will prepare them for you, and if you wish to tell it, be the audience for another story. Agreed. Good, booms Emphas. Then I will wait for you to bring them. Emphas slides his walk away and straightens up. I will prepare a recipe then, Sleeper. Good luck with your foraging. You turn away and walk back into the main market, the rich taste of Emphas's food still lingering in your mouth. Stories for food, you think. A trade that seems more than fair. we'll do a whole dissection. Oh, come on. Alright, that finishes the back in business quest. You arrive into a buzz of activity at the yard. Red blinking lights flash across a vast dark shape, suspended below the dome. They flicker across scorched home plates and bent structures, spilling from holes in the twisted shape. The cutter is huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's a beauty, isn't she? Drago stands to the side, focused on the hulking ship as it slowly leaves the ground. What is it? Dragos laughs. That, my friend, is gritty scrap. I should thank you. This place was on its legs when it turned up. Now look at this. The ship descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. You struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Dragos for this monstrous craft. You can't help but think of what has become of its crew. What happened? What do you mean? He glances at you. I imagine going to our salvager to give me credit. That's what's happened. No, what happened to the ship? Not my concern, he shrugs. Ship creaks like a calving iceberg as it reaches the base of the yard. Dragos is visibly excited. I know I said you shouldn't stick around, but I'm going to need some help with this one. The drones start to crawl over the hulk, their lights illuminating the flash's dented hole. Watching, you wonder if you arrived in a similar fashion, locked inside that container. The wreck of the SNR freighter lowered into the yard like a corpse ready to be butchered. Or was the container delivered to Dragos on its own, a womb for your rebirth into this strange station? You shudder. Perhaps if you could learn something about the ship, you might be able to trace the path that led you to this yard. Dragos squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think we are up to it. What do you think? You see the fading name of the ship emblazoned on the side. Winterlight. Let's do it. He claps you on the back. Glad to hear it. Come back in a few and we can make a start. A real beauty, Dragos repeats, perhaps just to himself. You take one last look at the shattered ship and the drones start cutting, and then slip out of the yard, feeling suddenly cold in the empty passage. Alright, we cleared the debt. Alright. Character and upgrades. You've completed your first drive. Each drive completed unlocks an upgrade point to spend on upgrading your character. Access your character menu with R1. We have one upgrade point. Let's see. I want Icebreaker. Oh no, I need 2 upgrade points. Alright. Let's go with Intuit. Nope, I don't want to end the cycle just yet. Alright, we got ourselves an encrypted key. We'll do that soon. We'll low engage soon. Alright, we'll do this. Anything can do with... Alright. One more of those, and I think he'll throw the hunter off my back for me. Alright, I will be right back. I just gotta run to the bathroom. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's continue. We're out of actions for the day. I'm still good on energy, so I guess I'll just rest in the empty container. The hunter is really creeping up on me though, so I really do need to make some progress with data extraction here. But I guess I'll go to the yard and make some money. Alright, that's a neutral outcome, but that's okay. Now let's go a little crazy. Alright, let me get in data. Alright, Fang, tell me that actually. As you enter the bay, Fang is nowhere to be seen. The mix of servers and machines blink out in the dark. Staccato rhythms, unseeing eyes of the station's digital ghosts. Shitheads! Fang's voice echoes from behind a stack, followed by the hammer of a fist on a metal casing. Those snaky shitheads. Who's snaky? Sleeper! Fang's smiling head pops out from behind a stack. Just the emulated consciousness I have been eager to see. Come back here! You pick your way between the throwing stacks, trying not to strip on loose bundles of cables that blanket the dark floor. Fang sat in a mountain of... in front of... Fang sat in front of a set of monitors mounted to a stack. Tell me, Sleeper, what do you see here? Fang waves at a monitor to his side, along with pale list of information. You lean in closer, looking for links in the data. The table seemed to be filled with personal information. Names, genders, dates, ID numbers, all the markers of institutional records. Shitheads? Fang laughs. Maybe not all of them, but what kind of shitheads? Solheim. Bingo! He taps at the terminal. I pulled all these from the old data you brought in. All employees of the Eye's original owners, and he leads past you as and scrolls the list down. This one is a snaky shithead. He stabs at the screen with a finger. Name reads Arden Hurst. Who's Hardin? That, Fang says, giving you a sideways look, is the thing. He drags the stool up beside him and motions for you to sit. There just so happens to be a Hardin Hurst in Haven Age. You wait for your reaction. Are you sure? Well, that's where you might be able to help me. Fang leans back in his chair. Just think about it. Decades ago, Hardin worked on this station as a... Fang leans across to look at the monitor. Strategic Senior Operations Executive. Fang raises his eyebrows at you. Our Hardin was keeping the money coming in for Solheim. He defined priority growth as initiatives by making sure The extractors they contracted out to were hooked into a system that outsourced all the risk and kept all the profit. Good old Hardin shuttled thousands of Palladium Rush workers into an infrastructure, which meant that their cut of the work they did went straight back to Solheim. How do you know this? I grew up here, Sleeper. This is my history. I am the child of the collapse. Bang turns back to his screen, staring hard at the strings of code flickering by. When I was born, my parents were Solheim contractors. They ate in Solheim canteens, worked on Solheim ships. They breathed Solheim air, and they slept in Solheim beds. Bang's voice rises as he speaks, his hands fists on the terminal edge. And the work that paid for that existence? The cycles of hard work, of hard extraction out of the belt? Solheim took their cut. This was a company town, so to speak, and my parents were just another in a long line of freelance contractors willing to risk their lives for a shot at anything other than poverty. Disposable. This guy, stabbing at Hardin once again with his finger, strategized all that, did the sums, and then somehow, thousands of cycles later, he's still going, still here, crawling the walls like some shithead snake. He survived the revolution. But how? These guys, they were big time. There's a lot of money you can get. There's a lot money can get you if you are a company man. Bang relaxes a little. But how is Hardin still kicking? I really don't know. He turns to you and smiles. We're going to find out. Hardin's now a big shot in the shipyards. Just a few degrees back around the eye from here. Bang brings up a map of the lower eye. Haven Age might be born out of Erlen's revolutionary zeal, but a flat hierarchy it is not. Hardin happened to float to the top. Fang zooms in on the far yards. Fang grimaces. Thing is, I don't have access to those systems. Shipyard crew is pretty paranoid, and they don't like anyone from systems digging around in their stuff. Plus, we need more than just the name of a Solheim executive. We need proof. Fang holds up a thumbnail-sized drive. That's where this little creation of mine comes in. Called a ripper worm. He turns the drive needs his fingers. It'll rip through any digital storage and spin out a silken thread of filtered data. This one is set on the scent of Hardin Hurst. He hands it over. Getting into the compound might be tricky. Fang puts a hand on your shoulder. You, however, have a particular knack for remote access. If you can extract yourself a Haven Age cipher from a Haven Age agent, they sometimes carry them among the data that caches. You crack open the compound's network and slot the worm in through any open port. You never even need to go near the shipyards. What do you say? Up for it? What's in it for me? Rooting out a corrupt snake not enough? Find that information, and we have an ad break coming up in a little over a minute. When it hits, get up and stretch, do some self-care. I'll resume the game once the ad break is over. Alright. Find the information, I'll start working on tracker viewers. And scratches his chin. Anything the worm gets, he'll send back here to me. There's something wrong here, and I aim to get to the rotten core of it. You leave Fang, digging through data, among the wires and machines of the old station. As you walk out, you try to imagine the eye as it once was, a vast machine running smooth and strong, directed by people like Hardin. A vast, Solheim-built machine into which thousands poured from the surrogate systems looking for a new life. The hope of a better future, engineered to line someone else's pockets. It's an idea you are intimately familiar with. Think of Hardin, still alive, still part of this place, and wonder if the past has ever truly passed. Any student history will tell you that no, the past isn't just truly past. Alright. Alright, we got some Haven Age data. A glimmer in the dark catches your eye as the orb of the hunter's head pierces the distance. Run. Turn away and glide back into the cloud, thousands of threads of data rushing past. And there's the ad break, folks. I'll see you in 3 minutes. And we are back. Alright. Another glimmer catches your eye. Closer now that roving orb creates in tentacles. It flickers. Jumps once, twice, and then it is here. Hunter is here. Entity, submit to inquiry. Hunter reaches for you in that unpleasantly familiar way. It's weaving threads, creating a cage. Push against the head threads as they close in, becoming frenzied as you push them aside. You are caught by whipping tendrils, and then you feel them pull you away from the anchor of your body. Push through, clearing the threads. Entity, over processing. Up the screen from behind, you are already gliding away back to your anchor, your body. You wake, dizzy, disoriented, but safe. No, I'm not gonna take that risk. What I am gonna do is eat. Alright. And sleep in the empty container. Alright. 4 dice. Very good ones. Alright. Alright. Cutter salvage. And 16 cryo. Nice. Okay, merchant freighter is here. And I don't want to do that. And Kita is crouched at the competing core of the ambergris, swearing to herself when you enter. She doesn't look up. These shits completely ruin the core connector when they cut it. She holds up a fistful of ragged wires. Ship mine they ripped won't even be usable without placing these. Pulls the bundle of wires across the room. Amateurs. Can we repair it? There's nothing to repair. We need an entire ship mind. First thing you can expect to dredge up from a scrap. She sighs. Fragments, maybe. Sections of a mind. But a complete ship mind? No way. Ankita climbs out of a cooling well where Shipmine should be. The space suddenly crowded with her on the same level as you. Towering over you, she stoops beneath the low curved ceiling. Come on, nothing to be done here now. She leads you back through the guts of Amber, though you could find your way back yourself. The repair process has left you familiar with the cutter's idiosyncratic layout, all diagonal angles and bundled tubes. What do we do now? Ikea seems lost in thought, and you focus on the corridors, ducking below conduits and passing through bulkheads. Eventually, you arrive in gallery. Although it's hard to tell, most of the benches and prep surfaces are covered in half-stripped components and welded hole patches. And Kita shoves a box of filters into the floor and sits. There's no way around it. You need a new ship mind. Where you from? Scrap freighter. Port exchange. Hell, find one in the overlooked bathroom. Doesn't matter where. Just matters that we get one. She rubs her forehead. It seems I'm about to do something very stupid. But hey, I came here, didn't I? Why not make a run of it? She fixes you with a hard stare. Sleeper, you're all I've got. No crew, no friends, you're it. She looks uncomfortable. I appreciate the time you put on Amber, and I'm sure she would too if she could. What I'm saying is, if you screw me on this, I will kill you. She leans over and hands you bags of chits. A big stack of chits. You don't dare to count them. Get me that shit mind. Sleeper, don't make me regret this. Won't. Look, just get out of here before I change my mind. You slip out the galley and head back towards the main lock. As you do, Amber growls and creaks like a caged animal. Reach out a hand to calm her. Time to find out Ankita a ship mind somehow. Alright, we will haul some materials. And we got a positive outcome for that. Nice. And 243. Okay, that is a good amount. That's a good amount of money to have. Alright, we're gonna end this cycle. But I need to harvest some data. Because this hunter is going to get me. Alright, Slot Haven Cipher. And we do have a cipher to hack that, so let's do that. And let's bypass this and complete the sequence. And we can afford to lower this gate. Nope. Alright. Alright, slap. Oh, this might be what he actually wanted. Alright, so I got it installed. I may not. Alright, well. Nice. Two very positive actions in a row. I will take it. Alright, so that's all I can do for today. We'll go by the stall here. And alright, we'll call it a day. I'm really scared. I really hope I have not fucked up. Hold there, sleeper. Comes a voice from behind you. Don't run. Good, good. A hand pats your coats down. You know your master's voice. Ethan spins you around. He's wearing a wide smirk and a slick jacket, and you immediately know he's terrible news. Got all the way out here and then stayed put? He laughs a cruel laugh. At a sleeper thing? You're my first. You barely hear them. You've noticed the handgun against level at your chest, and it's hard to take your eyes off it. He reaches down with his other hand and slips some kind of ring out from a belt loop without taking his eyes off. Make you to the eye, though. That's pretty good. This place is so bad. Bars, markets, people. I pull most of my contacts out of asteroid caves. Off godforsaken moons. He splits the rings into two perfect circles. It's hard to hit civilization when there's so much to pass through. Who are you? Just a freelancer on a contract. Reaches over to slide the rings around your wrists. Go easy. You see the chance the moment his eyes leaves you to watch the rings. You spin, knocking away and sprinting down the corridor. Then the shot rings out, echoing off the metal so loud it hurts your ears. A bullet hole smokes in the wall beside your head. You freeze and Ethan closes the gap. This is a very boring routine. Trust me, I've seen it all before. He slips the rings over your trembling wrists. Ethan nudges you to start walking. To the ship and home, he whistles. Going easy. You stumble down the corridor, your hands behind you, your mind racing. We can work this out. Can we? I don't see much in the way of assets in your possession. Ethan yawns and continues to nudge down the corridor. Shame to come all this way out here just to head back to Narv right away. That tracker of yours makes this too quick. Was hoping you'd put up a bit more of a chase, you know? Running battle through the Bright Market, maybe? Or hold out on the low end? There's a few establishments I would have enjoyed checking out while I asked around. Walk on in silence for a little longer, desperately trying to think of a way to escape. That ace and herb tracker will be the death of you. Hey, I have an idea. How about on the way back we stop the ship, we stop for a drink? I'm buying. He laughs his own joke. I have a better idea. This better not be one of those where you do a dramatic pause and try to jump me, because I'm pretty tired of that. Mrs. Eaton, I've got myself thinking, what's the rush here? Here we are, one of the most lawless joints in the surrogate systems, and we are heading for the exit. Pauses and you trudge on in silence. Okay, here's the idea. Starts Ethan. You and me make a little agreement. Here are the turns. Turns you to face him. You run, or leave, or try to abandon the eye, I shoot you. Plot or scheme, you try to kill me, I shoot you. But, he smiles, you come meet me at an establishment of my choice every few cycles and you pay my tab. I don't shoot you. He pauses. You don't pay my tab? You get the idea. You're letting me go? No. Let's call it open custody. You're free to mooch around the eye as long as you keep paying up. He stretches. You know, I really have thought I was going to have to kill you, but this is so much better. He clicks something at his belt and the rings release from your wrist. I'm going to see if I can find my old stool at the compressor cup. Come see me there. He aims the handgun at you, squinting down the sight. Let me just remind you, that body of yours is one big tracker, so don't even think about leaving the eye. I'll know. Ethan turns and strides off down the corridor, slipping his handgun away. The mix of relief and terror you feel is overwhelming. What are you going to do? Fuck you, Fang. Well, this sucks. Hmm. Alright, we'll try escape. You know what? Actually, screw it. A neutral outcome. Nice. Alright, so every 4 cycles I gotta pay off Ethan. Fucking Ethan. Well, at least that added... Did that add to the yard clearance? I missed that. Alright. We'll rest. Damn it. Alright, so we pulled off the yard clearance. Alright, the final pieces of the winter lights sit in neat piles waiting for collection shot from Haven Age. Dragos has managed to sell the remaining pieces for the shipyards. A fact that's hard to forget as he's been telling you about it for the past 2 cycles, and all that remains for Haven Age to come collect. You look around at the yard transformed from when you first arrived. The mostly repaired drones fit back and forth, no longer buzzing unevenly or lost in dark corners. And the scrap is sectioned, sorted. The system that you and Dragos have put into place over the past cycles is paying off. As you look, you notice the glow of pale light from the office. On the entrance, the rundown building which houses all the records and spare equipment. Dragos must be inside, and you get to your feet and walk over to find out when the shipyard collection and crew will be here. Sleeper, come in. You swing the door open and walk in. Dragos is sitting at the small metal desk. Shipyards told me they'd be here soon. Then they'll hand over to the chits and we are set. He writes something with a stylus on his slate and then shuts it off. Of course, we should talk about a bonus. Hell yeah. He stands and turns to face you, his face blasted. Look, I don't know when the next job is coming in, but this should tide you over for now. He opens his hand to reveal a stack of chits. What's going on here? I said it's a bonus. Take it. Dragos presses the chits into your hand. I've done well by you, and you've returned the favor. Strains up and clears his throat, and you realize he has prepared what he is about to say. These chits are for you to take and do what you will with them. They are from me, and they're the last I'm going to give you. He pauses. There's no more work in a sleeper for this yard. He folds his arm. I'm sorry, but that's it. You stay in the container for as long as you need, but the yard is done with you. Turns away to his terminal. I need the work. Plenty of work to be had on the eye. Salvagers need offloads in the rotunda. There's a shipyard's midline. I'm not the only one in town. He glanced the apertures and Dragos' headset betrayed no emotion. You need to stay away, Sleeper. He pauses, considering his words. Trouble is going to follow you here. Trust me. Am I in danger? You expect not to be? You escaped from Essed Arp. Dragos suddenly grabs you by the shoulder and drags you out of the office into the yard. He turns you to face a stack of pieces from the winter light. Dissected, cut down, totally unrecognizable as a ship. You came through that, Sleeper. That should have been you. Chopped and stacked. His hand trembles on your shoulder. That is what happens here. We cut down broken machines and we move them on. Well, I didn't cut you down, but I'm sure as hell I'm moving you on. Move you on before whoever killed that ship out there comes to kill me. What do you mean? He shook his head. These ships, they didn't get decommissioned. They didn't break down in the dry dock. You think they'd look like that if they did? Someone ended them. That means someone tried to end you, Sleeper, and I'm done waiting for them to turn up. We've had our fun, now it's time. He gives you a little shove. Go on. He turns and walks back to the office. That's it. And goes outside. Silence hangs in the air and as you leave. with your pockets filled with clinking chits and a strangely hollow feeling in your chest. Alright. This is definitely where I'll call it. After I, will end this day. Recycle. And that's where I'll end it for tonight. I like this game. I am actually having fun with this. So I'll definitely continue it. I don't know if I'm going to do it tomorrow night or Friday. It'll be definitely one of those days. We'll be back to the Somnia Files with No Sleep for Konami Date this weekend. You know, the long-awaited return of Somnium Saturday and Somnium Sunday. And that'll be that. No raid tonight. I'm just gonna hop off. Thank you all for watching. Always a pleasure to have anyone on. You guys make this worthwhile.